And I've thought, well, did the Republicans provoke the South? Did the Republicans go too far? Were they too strict? I'm not blaming the war on the Republicans, of course. I blame it on the leadership of the South, who foolishly took the whole country to war, right? They knew this was going to result in some kind of conflict. And they just did it to keep their slaves. But if you can avoid having someone commit a crime against you by not provoking them, shouldn't you maybe try to do that? Depending on the price or the cost of that. The person who commits the crime against you would still be guilty, but you might have been able to avoid it. So I don't know, if someone does provoke someone else that they could have avoided provoking. I don't know if they're guilty of anything. I don't think they are, but they could have avoided it. Isn't that preferable? And so I'm just asking that question. We always basically, and it's kind of true. The North was the good guys and the South was the bad guys. Not in every sense. I know it's controversial, but generally what the North was fighting for was better than what the South was fighting for. The South was not fighting for freedom. They had freedom. Nobody was oppressing them. The only way they were going to become oppressed in their minds was if somebody was going to ban slavery. That's why they seceded. It wasn't tariffs. That was an issue, okay, but that's not why they seceded. I know with President Jackson, that's why they were threatening to secede. They probably wouldn't have back then, but that's why they did it this time. So anyway, not to belabor that, but I try to put myself in different people's shoes when you look at history. And if you're the Republicans and you're sick of these compromises that you're being forced to make with the South, I get that. So I get why the old Whigs and some anti-slavery Democrats and some other groups get together, abolitionists, and form the Republican Party and finally say, look, we're not messing around with the West anymore. Look at bleeding Kansas. We're not going to draw any more lines. No more compromises with you guys. No, we don't want any slavery in the West. But that's kind of, if you know that's going to push the other side over the edge, do you still do that? And, just accept the consequences? But then the other side can just blackmail you. Is that fair? That the South gets to flip the whole table over and say, screw it, everything's ruined now. So anyway, it's complicated, but I had never thought of it before of, did the North kind of provoke it a little bit?